The creation of the Sahel Confederation, consisting of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, has triggered an unprecedented crisis in West Africa that threatens the region's free movement of people and goods. Comprising approximately 72 million people, the newly formed Confederation of Sahel States, or the CSS, represents a significant shift away from the Economic Community of West African States, or the ECOWAS, which these countries accused of being manipulated by their former colonial ruler, France. This move comes just before ECOWAS's 50th anniversary, highlighting the bloc's inability to reconcile with the Sahel nations following their departure. Tensions between ECOWAS and the Sahel countries began in 2020 and 2021 after military coups brought Colonel Assimi Goïta to power in Mali. ECOWAS responded with severe trade and financial sanctions and suspended Mali from its membership. Although these sanctions were lifted in 2022, relations did not improve, especially as Mali formed alliances with Burkina Faso, which experienced two coups in 2022, and Niger, where a military leader took control in July. ECOWAS's sanctions and threats of military intervention against Niger's coup were seen as the final straw, solidifying the Sahel countries' resolve to distance themselves from ECOWAS. In January, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali announced their withdrawal from ECOWAS, and they formalized this decision by creating the CSS on Saturday. Despite the lifting of sanctions against Niger in February, the CSS countries remain committed to their independence from ECOWAS. On Sunday, ECOWAS warned of the potential diplomatic and political isolation of the CSS countries and the loss of millions of euros in investment. Security concerns are also heightened given the persistent jihadist violence in the region, which the CSS countries claim ECOWAS has failed to adequately address. The most immediate consequence of the Sahel Confederation's formation could be the restriction of the free movement of goods and people. Experts believe that citizens of CSS countries might need visas to travel within the region and could face obstacles in establishing businesses. Some experts also expressed concerns that this fragmentation contradicts the ideals of the African Union. Niger's General Abdurrahman Etiani declared that the people of the Sahel Confederation have irrevocably turned their backs on ECOWAS. Despite being landlocked, the CSS countries believe they can achieve self-sufficiency by pooling their resources across key economic sectors.
The formal approval of the treaty creating the Confederation, the Alliance of Sahel States, or AES, will thus enshrine our achieving the aspirations of our population by forming a union of states that share the same debits and the same ambitions to reach the same heights, the same destiny.
Negotiations now focus on establishing mutually respectful relations between ECOWAS and the CSS, recognizing the latter as a distinct entity. At its recent summit, ECOWAS acknowledged the risk of its disintegration given that Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali represent a significant market of 72 million people, nearly a fifth of the bloc's population. Despite previous departures such as Mauritania, ECOWAS remains influential due to the presence of major economies like Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and Senegal. As the new bloc starts functioning, West Africa is now more divided than ever. Bureau Report, India Today Global.